Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, what's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
I'm outstanding, thank you.
You're looking good.
Yeah.
Put together. Looking good.
I was noticing your beard's getting a little longer, man. You gonna let that go?
No.
Like, come on down.
No.
Oh.
This is as long as it gets. In fact, I even trimmed it up a little this morning, so I gotta get it back.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Don't mess with it. It's looking nice. Let it keep rolling.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes.
Yours looking good too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what's happening, man? What's new and exciting? Any photo issues at Costco this week? Any other things you'd like to report out on there?
You know I'm trying to remember exactly what I told you at Costco. What was it?
Well, I think it was an example of your issue with color. And by color, I mean the color of your beard.
Okay. There were other stories. So yes, that one. No, all is well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything's good.
So you've come to the conclusion that it is indeed a white, gray beard, gray, white beard.
No, I'm they crank these things out so quickly. The cameras aren't very
we are
quality.
the Graybeard Chronicles, so you need to have a gray beard.
All right. I'm good.
All right. So it is gray then?
Yeah, it's gray.
Okay.
Partially.
Partially. Yeah, and what's not gray is white.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, man. All right. So we are called the Graybeard Chronicles, but I don't think people subscribe to us and listen to this to hear us talk about our gray beards.
No.
What are we talking about? Other than that whistle I just made. Did you hear that? That was weird.
Yeah. Now that you say it, I remember hearing that, but I didn't really focus on it. Tonight we are talking about an issue that can have a couple different components to it, but the bottom line is that the title is.
Hey, I'm going to mess you up real quick here.
Okay.
And I want to pump the brakes on this real quick before we talk about this, because we're recording this on Monday evening, as we most often do.
Right.
There was a significant tragedy that occurred in Nashville today, an active shooter situation where 3 adults and 3 children, not counting the shooter, were killed by the shooter. And don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, but just want to call that out and say that our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that were lost in this incident and all those that are dealing with the fallout as a result.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, and that is updated information. Last I heard, which was probably 2 hours ago, 90 minutes ago, was there were only 3 that were dead. So now it's up to 6.
Yeah, 3 adults and 3 children.
Okay.
Three adults that are in their 60s. I think 2 females and a male, and then 3 children.
Sorry to hear that. Wow.
Tragic, no doubt.
Right.
So, anyways, I just wanted to call that out before we started diving into this subject matter. So, not to put a damper on that, but at the same time, it's something I felt we should call out.
You bet. Thank you for doing so. Okay, so today, as I was beginning to say a minute or so ago, the topic is you are not an island. And I just thought from a couple different perspectives, that's an important thing for people to remember, both good and bad. And so, I mean, it's not bad. It's just that you can get in a bad spot and because you're not thinking about this kind of stuff. And so before I say anything else, I want to hear what what you think it's all about.
Well, I was gonna fire that back at you and say, no, wait a minute. What
right.
causes you to
Right.
call that subject out? Right? Where'd you get that title from? What? But I'm good with giving you what my perspective is on just that title, right? Because that's all I had.
Right.
And you know what it brought to mind to me is that we as people, as human beings, need to understand that we are just one grain of sand in this world that we live in, right? So we're part of a much bigger human race, and then you can pare that down into smaller circles that you interact in and so on. But ultimately, what it meant to me and what I pulled out of it is that, you know, your actions impact others, and conversely, right? So their actions, the actions of other people, impact you, depending upon how you respond to those actions. But it's, you know, you're not in this alone. Whether it's an opportunity to help somebody else and share your experience and knowledge, et cetera, with someone, and help them accomplish a task that they're working on, or reach out to someone and ask for their assistance. You know, it's just you're not on an island. There are people around you. There are others that you can engage with in any and everything that you do.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. And that was very consistent with the original intention. If we go back to the very first podcast we did, which was, and this is one component of that phrase,
Right.
on suicide, and that, you know, that very, very tragic and uncomfortable circumstance that people find themselves in, that attempt to do it or do it, and others who are impacted by that. So on the individual side, where somebody might be going through a period of wanting to withdraw from everybody, or going through a period of very deep depression, you know, they get this feeling like they are an island, that there's no one out there that cares about them, who wants them to be okay, that they can talk to. And so I just want people to know, we humans are social animals,
Right.
and we don't do well when we're by ourselves. I'm not talking about, you know, you want to go for a walk around the block by yourself because you want to kind of get in the right headspace and think about something, or you want to meditate by yourself in the morning. It's not what I'm talking about.
No, those are healthy things.
Those are healthy things. I'm talking about, you know, this idea that I need to become the guy who lives out in the woods by myself because I want to get away from everybody, and ultimately become the Unabomber.
Right. Isolation is not good.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny you said Unabomber, because as soon as you said that, I was picturing you in a hooded sweatshirt and
yes,
okay.
with some sunglasses
Yeah,
on. Right. All those drawings when that first came out. No, so you're not an island. And then, to what you just said, we also are so connected, whether we know it or think it or fully realize that other people, you know, there's that old saying about a butterfly flaps its wings in, you know, South America, and it creates a hurricane, you know, in Florida.
Right.
Because of all of the connections, you know, that was just enough of a push in that place at that time that caused the domino effect. And then all of a sudden, that's true. That's true with human beings. We're not an island. And so,
Yeah, to your point about suicide and the whole, you know, you hear the phrase, at least I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, you know, you're not alone. We want you to know that you're not alone. And I think that is a good message to put out there, and encourage people to talk to others when they are dealing with difficult times, depression, etc. And you know, also that mindset of you're not an island is important too. You're not out there by yourself. You know, you
right.
don't need to talk to a volleyball and call it Wilson. You're not by yourself.
Right.
You are not stranded on an island.
Right.
There are others around you and willing to help.
Right.
And reaching out for that help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, the whole idea that, and here's another aspect to it. So the people who just kind of like, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want, with whom I want, where I want. And again, that's this whole thing of, okay, you can do that,
Right.
but it ends up, if you don't take a minute to think about what is the impact that this is having on other people around there, that I don't even, it might be that you walk into the hardware store on, Saturday morning, and you're a grumpy ass old man, and you decide to
Right.
snarl at somebody because of whatever, you're trying to get down an aisle and their cart is in the way. Who knows? And that sets off something because you're doing your own thing, your own way, in your own head with your own timing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
like we talked about recently, though, you look at somebody like that and you got to wonder what is going on in their world, right?
right,
So, how jacked up is their situation in life? Or I mean, it could be that they're just an ornery person; they act like that all the time,
right,
an indiscriminate asshole. Or it could be there's a unique situation that's occurred, and this is stress manifesting itself because they don't know how to deal with the emotions associated with whatever it is that's going on in their life, and so this is how they're expressing it and sharing it with others.
yeah,
Yeah, it's it's still no excuse to treat other people like crap.
right.
But yeah, sometimes you just got to sit back and shake your head like, oh my god. I feel sorry for the people that person lives with.
Yeah, and just think about what you just said. When you observe that, you walk away, and now you're talking bad about the person, or you're at least thinking bad about them. You're like, wow, why are you being that way?
Right.
All of those things. So this person who doesn't know you, who doesn't care about you, is now consuming your mind because you chose to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It really is, right? So it's getting on other people, whether that's your intent or not. And I think this is something else that popped into mind when I was thinking about this subject matter, right? So I've talked about looking out for yourself and paying attention to you, and
Goodness.
being your
Excuse me.
own protector. Bless you. And I think that interestingly enough, I think those things sometimes can be viewed as selfish behavior, and at the same time, those are healthy selfish behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the opposite of that, though, is behaving like what you just talked about. That's selfish behavior, not in a good way,
Right.
right? It's like I'm having a shitty day.
Right.
I'm just going to ruin everybody else's.
Right.
And whether that's the intent or not,
Right.
that's certainly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just realize that your behavior has an impact on
Has an
others.
impact.
You
You're
are not on an island.
That's
You are
right.
not an island.
Right. And then probably the other big point that I wanted to make in all this, which is very consistent with what you have already said, is there are a lot of lonely people out there.
Yeah.
And that's sad to see when you know about or recognize or see or you hear about. And um, I think that it is truly divine when there's a lonely person out there who gets approached and helped and assisted to somebody who's either has a predisposition for loneliness or is in a temporary period of their life where they're feeling lonely, and to reach out and to help them and to let them know you are not an island. There are people that are out here. It's not quite somebody who's in the downward spiral toward wanting to commit suicide. It's just people who are lonely, and they don't have suicidal tendencies. They're just lonely.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Focus on how you can connect with other people.
right.
Right. And you may be you may be one of those that adopted the mindset of Kid Rock, right? I had plenty of friends before I met you. I don't need any more.
Right.
But seriously, I mean, think about how you can connect with others, and how you can make a positive contribution to their life just in the interaction that you have with them.
Right.
I'm not talking about being great friends and spending a tremendous amount of time together, or just a moment of kindness, the difference that can make.
That's right. You just have no idea what kind of impact you might have just had without even intending to do it, just by being a good person or a kind person or an act of kindness right out of the blue.
Yeah.
I'll hold the door for you when So, I mean, something that simple. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because if you're one of those people, because I know I am, I like to hold doors for people.
Mhm.
Does it piss you off when somebody doesn't do it for you? Piss you off is not a good term, because it doesn't make me mad. I just kind of look at them like, oh, you don't know what you're missing, man. And I just kind of shake my head and I'll say, thank you. Call them out on it.
Okay.
They'd be like, thank you for what? Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think I would do that to a friend who I was teasing. I don't know if I'd do that to.
Oh, it's way more
to-
fun when you do way more fun and risky to do it to strangers.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right.
I can see that.
Try it next time. Going into a convenience store or something, somebody doesn't hold the door for you. Like, thank you. Apologize in advance if you get punched in the face.
Yes, exactly. That's what maybe they had arms that didn't work and they couldn't hold the door. I mean, you got to be aware of that.
Well, I'm assuming that you just watch them open the door with their arms.
Okay.
I mean, there could be exceptions to everything, but
Right.
that's a little bit of an extreme rabbit out of the hat.
Seek first to understand.
Right. Yes.
Anyway, that was it. That was the point to just have people stop for a minute and think about, they're not an island. I'm not an island. You're not an island. We humans are not an island. Now, okay, I just want to add one new wrinkle to it. There are some people who truly like to be sort of not in crowds and not around a lot of people. I mean, I think of
that's okay.
Right. They prefer small groups of people, or just their immediate family, or they
intimate gathering.
Yeah, there you go. And all of that is great and fine. And that's just the way people are. And other people just they draw energy from the crowd. They want to be around that.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just realizing the impact that you can have, and that can be, absorbed by you from others, because none of us are.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can get lots of good out of it yourself, no doubt.
Right.
So I don't think I asked you this, but forgive me if I already have.
Mm-hmm.
What was your inspiration behind this topic? What occurred? I was like, sometimes I think about it and don't ask you that,
right?
But I'm curious.
I was planning my day,
right,
and thinking about all the things I needed to do and the people that I needed to talk to, and I thought of a single person, and that was in my day on my calendar. And I don't know why, just this thought popped to my mind that you are not an island. And so I thought, that's a great topic. That's a great thing to think about. And I immediately sent it to you in a text and said, there it is. Because it was early in the morning, as you remember. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
So that's all I got.
Time to leave this island.
Okay.
All right. Good topic, man. Appreciate it. Until next time, no matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeard.com.